Hello YouTube, Malcolm68 here doing actually a video for my sports blog, which, I neglected to really update as the season went on, but that's alright. Things are going to be different for this upcoming season because I'm definitely going to focus more on my blog. It was just hard to with me going to like almost every Devils home game and whatnot, but my blog is going to primarily focus on anything Sharks and Devils related. But yeah, we're a day before the draft, and I'm basically going to share you guys my first ever mock draft. Never done one of these before. Felt like doing it for this season. Just because of my new blog and everything. But of course, I'll leave a link to my blog in the description and whatnot, and then I'll have and then I'll have a list of my the list of players in the description as well for the mock draft, since I couldn't put like text on each slide, but I just have pictures of the player. I'm going to explain a bit why I picked a certain player for each team, and then all my information on that character is going to be from NHL.com, because they did a mock draft, and I figured that'd be easier for me to get the information from, rather than like writing it down or something. But I did handwrite my mock draft, which is cool. So I'll like say the player, their position, and where they played. Before we begin, this is actually not my first recording. I meant to have this up, I think, Tuesday or yesterday before the awards, but I accidentally had the Capitals pick 30th instead of 31st. Golden Knights pick belongs to the Detroit Red Wings, who acquired it in a trade for forward Tomas Tatar on February 26th. New York Rangers have 3 picks. In addition to number 9, they have number 26, acquired from the Bruins in a trade for forward Rick Nash on February 25th, and the 28th overall pick, which they got in that trade with the Lightning for Ryan McDonough and JT Miller. Flyers have 14th and 19th, acquired from the Blues. Islanders have 11 and 12, acquired from the Calgary Flames. Senators have number 4 and number 22, which they got from the Penguins. And the Blackhawks have number 8 and number 27, which they acquired from the Nashville Predators. No, I do not remember all those trades. I think the Senators one. Was it that really like complicated trade that like confused everyone at first? Just like the whole Hoffman trade, which Doug Wilson, for once, you're a genius, by the way. What a great way to dump Bodker, get draft picks. I know they're going to play in something huge. I don't think it's going to be Tavares because, at the time of me recording this, and by the time I upload this video, I'll probably upload this video when I get back home tonight, so it's probably not going to be up until late, but, at least I'm getting it a day before the draft anyway. Unless I am able to record this before I leave for work, which is the hope. This is going to be a long video. I want to warn you guys that. Anyway, but yeah, it looks like Barry Trotz is going to be the next head coach of the Islanders, which definitely means Tavares is going to stay. And I'm really interested to see what the Sharks do. I'm assuming they're going to try and go for JVR. They're definitely going to extend Couture and then give Hurdle a nice deal, and they'll still have enough cash to re-sign other players, and then hopefully get someone really good at free agency. We'll also see if Paul Martin is bought out. Who knows? I expect a lot of trade activity, though, between now and tomorrow, before the draft. But anyway, I think we all know Rasmus. I always forget how to say his last name. Is it Dallin? However you say his last name. Defenseman for Frölunda, Sweden. Obviously, the consensus number 1 player in this year's class. And, he's going to play for the Sabres. He's going to make an immediate impact for them. Whether or not they do, in fact, trade Ristolainen, who knows. If I were them, I'd keep Ristolainen. I think him and Dahlin here are probably your team's future, pretty much. we'll see. Not really more to say about him. We know he's going to be the next generational talent and everything. Yada yada yada. Alright, so Hurricanes. I did my mock draft before we found out that the Hurricanes stated that they are going to take Shavnikov with the second overall pick. I did have Shavnikov going 4th to Ottawa, and I have the Hurricanes here taking the pick loads. There we go. Thank you. Philippe Zadina, right wing from the Halifax Mooseheads of the QMJHL. I still think he's a great winger and everything. Is he going to be better than Shevnikov? Who knows? But sharpshooter with good size, 6 foot, 195 pounds. He changed the course of the game. He showed chemistry on the line with Martin Nikas, Carolina's first-round pick from last year's draft at the World Junior Championships. He tied for second at the tournament with 7 goals, and Nikas tied for the tournament lead with 11 points. And that's why I went with Zadina here, just because of that chemistry he has with Nikas. And that's very key. So that's why I thought they would go for him, but who knows? He'll go through tough areas to generate scoring chances, and has a quick, accurate release. He won the Michael Bazzi Trophy as the top professional prospect in the QMJHL after finishing tied for 3rd in goals. For the Canadians, I have them taking Brady Tkachuk, who's a left winger, but now that they got Domi, I don't know. Tkachuk obviously played for Boston University. I mean, there is speculation. Well, we know that the Sabres want to get rid of Ryan O'Reilly. We know the Canadians are interested, and the Sabres want 3rd overall. So if the Sabres do end up getting Montreal's 3rd overall pick here, I still believe they go with Brady Tkachuk. Might not be a dominant scorer, but his size and strength will make his line mates a few inches bigger. When he's not scoring, he'll help out in other areas of the game. He can dictate and control the play with his speed and physical attributes, and has the size, hands, and ability down low to create matchup problems. Tkachuk is the kind of player that cherishes pressure moments, and he's a gritty player who I definitely feel like can fit both the Canadians and and the Sabres. And for this mock draft, by the way, I didn't predict any trades and whatnot, but I will state if I do think a team will trade this pick, like I just did right here with the Canadians. And I mean, that's just based on rumors, and you guys know how rumors are and whatnot. Sorry if you hear the TV in the background. I have World Cup coverage on. Figured let me catch the Argentina Croatia game before I head to work. Probably watch the rest of it there, actually, on my phone. Anyway, and then here's probably who's going 2nd overall, but I have him 4th overall. That's Andrei Shevnikov. Played for Barrie in the OHL. Right winger. And what does NHL.com have to say about him? He scored 40 goals in 44 games last season. Forward with great offensive instincts, high-end skills, puck control, and a fantastic shot. Led OHL rookies with 72 points, including 58 points, 30 goals, 28 assists in 34 games after returning December 8th from a hand injury that kept him out for 2 months. So even after coming out from injury, this guy just raked in the points. And Carolina could definitely use a player like that. If for some reason he's not here and Montreal doesn't go for him, he can be very helpful to Ottawa now, and God knows Ottawa needs all the help they could get in literally every part of that organization. Oh man, it's like funny and sad at the same time with Ottawa. Anyway, 5th overall belongs to the Arizona Coyotes. I have them taking the first defenseman, and with the defenseman, it's pretty tricky. I feel like any of these my next 3, by the way, are defensemen. I feel like any of these defensemen can go like to the other Yeah, basically the three defensemen I'm about to name off here, I feel like can be like flipped around in any way possible. And for like other defensemen, I have later on in the draft, I feel like teams are going to pick whichever one is best available. A lot of defensemen in this draft. Not so much with the centers. It's a very not the greatest draft for centers. But anyway, I have the Arizona Coyotes taking Noah Dobson, who I feel is the best defenseman in this draft. He's 6'3", 180 pounds, right shot defenseman, which is always key. He played for, is it Acadie or Acity? Acadie Bathurst in the QMJHL. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of these. He has an effective two-way game, makes good decisions under pressure, which is really good, and has a big shot from the point. He had 69 points, 17 goals, 52 assists in 67 games, and can transition the puck well and plays big minutes, which is very key as well. It's like Butcher. Butcher played a lot of minutes for being a third-line defenseman. What is going on with my laptop? I don't know. Laptop's acting weird right now. With his extraordinary vision and skating ease, he shouldn't need too much more development time to establish himself as a major part of the Coyotes' future. I know they just locked down OEL, so why not give him a new buddy? You always want to have a strong defensive core. That's how you win championships. It's a proven fact. You can't argue with me on that one. And next up for the Detroit Red Wings, I have them taking a defenseman as well. I clicked on the wrong picture, sorry. I have them taking a player from Michigan, Quentin Hughes. His ability to control the game far exceeds any questions about his size, 5'9", 170 pounds. He's a dazzling skater and puck handler with a hard, accurate shot from the point. And Red Wings need a major need in defense. I feel like he can help that need right away. They could also go for Evan Bouchard here as well, who I have the Canucks taking. Like I said, really just depends on what GMs think. I mean, I am kind of like thinking like a GM right now with this draft, and I mean after like the first 10, 15 picks, it's pretty hard for me to predict. I feel like after that it's going to be whoever's best available. But who knows? Could be unexpected, like the Major League Baseball draft, where you had the second best pitcher in the draft fall all the way to like, when did he get picked? 17th or 18th? I don't know, but it was crazy. More on Hughes. He had a few shortcomings in his defensive play, but he has the potential to become a star, and he has great on-ice vision and instincts. And now, speaking of Bouchard, that's who I have the Canucks taking, played for the London Knights of the OHL. He tied for 7th in the OHL with 87 points, 25 goals, 62 assists, and is the first defenseman to finish in the top 10 since Ryan Ellis. David Gregory of NHL Central Scouting said Bouchard is the prototypical new millennium defenseman. So that's very interesting. That's why I feel like he could be taken before Dobson or Hughes. Although, did I just say Dobson is probably the best defenseman in this draft? I still believe that, but Bouchard is very good as well. He has a very good skill set, which is very rare. Canucks have done well building a group of young forwards, and obviously now is the time for them to work that magic with the defensemen. He's played three full seasons in the OHL, so I feel he could make that jump into the NHL right away. And what they mean by prototypical new millennium defenseman is that he's very offensive-minded. So, like a Carlson or Burns type of defenseman, but hopefully that doesn't mean you cause a lot of turnovers like Burns does. Yeah. And easily, and if Bouchard is available here, Canucks easily take him, no question about it. Moving on to the Chicago Blackhawks, 8th overall, I have them taking Oliver Wahlstrom, right winger for USA under 18. Under 18, excuse me. And oh boy, why did that move? Okay, so that's what moved. My frame moved, and I think it got smaller for some reason. Alright, so the bottom of these picks are going to be a little cut off. I apologize for that. I don't know how that happened, but anyway. Blackhawks need an infusion of young skill up front, and Wallstrom is a strong skater who scored 48 goals in 62 games with the USA Hockey's National Team Development Program under 18 team, and 7 goals in 7 games to help the U.S. win the silver medal at the 2018 IIHF World Under 18 Championships. He can create room for himself and get a shot off from above the dots, and has the size and strength to execute below the circles, so it can be that physical defenseman when needed, and can score when needed too as well. Moving on. To Adam Wahlstrom. He's a fast skater and has one of the best wrist shots of any player in the draft. And I feel he could be very deadly with Jonathan Toews in Chicago, because just like Joe Thornton with rookies, Toews easily makes rookies well, and they help them transition into the NHL. I mean, we've seen it with Toews, we've seen it with Thornton, with of course Chichu and Hurdle and others, and I feel like he will flourish in Chicago if they do pick him. I feel they'll put him on the line with Toews right away, and then maybe move him from there. We'll see. But for the Rangers, I have them taking Jesperi Kotkaniemi, if I'm pronouncing that right. A center who played for Assat in Finland. I know his draft stock has increased a lot, and by draft stock I actually mean his rating. He played regular minutes in Liga, which is Finland's top pro league, and won't turn 18 until July 6th. He was used at center and on the wing, and he's a great penalty killer. And for having that good of that kind of deployment at a young age speaks to his high hockey IQ, which is great. So he's probably going to be a very smart player on the ice as his career goes on. He's a playmaker with good hockey sense, good complete level, quick shot, and nose for the net. He had 29 points in 57 games with Assad, and 9 points for gold medal winning Finland at the 2018 World Under 18 Championships. So I feel like he'd be a great fit for the Rangers. If he doesn't go to the Rangers, he will probably go to the Oilers. But we know the Oilers need defense, and I have them taking Adam Boqvist. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right too. Played for Brynäs Jr., I believe. Sweden. I think that's the Swedish Junior League. A skilled right shot defenseman with, excellent vision and on-ice awareness, with a very good understanding of the game. He is more of a finesse type player who at times plays bigger than he is, but has a tremendous shot, and his upside is high with proper development, which hopefully he does get with Edmonton. You never know. He is cast from the same mold as Hughes and has well-developed offensive instincts, but it remains to be seen what he can do against other players. He'll get the chance next season with a full-time spot in the Swedish Hockey League. So he won't be NHL ready right away, but he will graduate to the Swedish Hockey League instead of the juniors, so that's always a good sign. And they say he has the skills and size of Erik Karlsson. So eventually he should eventually add a high-end puck-moving piece to the Oilers' attack, which we know they need. We know they need defense. Anyway, next up, Islanders going back to back. I have them taking a center and then a defenseman. The center I have them taking is Barrett Hayton, who played for Sault Ste. Marie of the OHL. One scout said of Hayton, he's a player you win with. He was used primarily in a checking role this season, but he had 60 points in 63 games, 21 goals, 39 assists. When asked to step into an offensive role while teammates were away at the World Juniors, he had 10 points in 8 games on the top line, which is pretty good. So if you need him to step up, you know he's reliable too. Likely one of the most complete centers in the draft with the, it says here with the uncertainty surrounding John Tavares, which I don't think is an uncertainty anymore. Even with John Tavares coming back, I still feel like the Islanders need more depth at center, and this guy can fill in right away. And then I have them taking Ty Smith, who played with Spokane in the Western Hockey League. He was a leader for Spokane in his second full season. Was extremely effective on the power play with 27 points, 3 goals, 24 assists. He's a left shot defenseman and can dissect the forecheck and pick it apart with a smooth transition from his zone. He's smart and can adapt his game to any situation he's presented with. I think he'll fit in very well with the Islanders, and hopefully will help them get back into being serious contenders once again. Next up for the Dallas Stars, I have them taking a center, Joseph Veleno. Good mix of worth ethic and top-end skill. Veleno got better as the season went on with 48 points, 60 goals, 32 assists in 33 games after a trade from St. John on December 19th, and led Drummondsville with 11 points in 10 playoff games. He's a fantastic playmaker who plays with a lot of pace and also has great leadership traits, which can be good for the future of that team when Ben and Sagan eventually retire, which we know it's not going to be for a while, but still, always good to have someone else in there with leadership qualities. Considered among the best at his position in this year's class. Stars' future at defense is good, since they got Myro. How do you pronounce his last name? I remember watching the draft party at a bar in Newark. I didn't know how to say his name. Hiskinen, there we go. Is it Myra Hiskinen? Is that how you pronounce it? So, instead of going for defense, Dallas can go for a forward here. Moving on. I hope all these pictures are for the right players. Like I said, my laptop has been acting up lately. Alright, Flyers from the Blues. I have them taking Saron Noel. That's the AC going off. Played for the Oshawa Generals. If I can get the pick, there we go. At 6'5", 205 pounds, Noel draws attention, but when you focus on his offensive contributions and his skating ability, he fits perfectly with the kind of players the Flyers like. So basically by this, I could tell he's a Wayne Simmons type of player, and there are rumors going around that Simmons might be traded, so this would be a great replacement for him. And you know the Flyers love tough physical players. So I feel like... almost said the wrong guy here, wow. Obviously feel like Noel is the smart pick here for the Flyers. Now if they pick him, does that mean Simmons is gone for sure? Not necessarily, but just keep that in mind that they might actually trade Wayne Simmons. Going 15th overall, I have the Panthers taking Joel Farabee, left winger, for USA under 18. What separates Farabee from others is his speed, combined with a high hockey IQ and a quick release shot that produced 33 goals in 62 games this past season. He's a two-way puck mover with outstanding vision who plays a hard game in all areas of the rink. Committed to Boston University in 1819. Farabee was second in scoring with the NTDP under 18 team with 76 points and had 8 power play goals. and 4 game-winning goals. So I guess this could be a Couturier. Or this is not the Flyers. I was about to say you probably could compare him to Couturier in that sense, or any other, or any of the other sulky candidates. Really, it's always good to have a. Always good to have a forward who can play well both ends of the ice. I feel like every team needs a player like that. Florida definitely could use him. 16th overall, I have the Avalanche taking Rasmus Kupari. Played for Karpat in Finland. Yeah, I forgot I had to scroll down on my phone. Kupari has impressive offensive skills and whatchamacallit, has impressive offensive skills, but had a bit of an up and down. Had an up and down season, which did end on a high note, helping Karpat win the Liga Championship, and had 3 points in 4 games to help Finland win the gold medal at the World Under-18s. Skating is close to a lead, but he needs to find consistency and add strength, which kind of reminds me of what Nico Hischier needed, and I feel like there were some moments where Nico wasn't that consistent, and then other times he was. But Nico definitely does need to bulk up. And what else did they say about Kupari? I believe that's it. Alrighty, moving on. To the Devils. Personally, I don't think the Devils are going to keep their 17th overall. But we'll see. If they do, I have them taking a defenseman, because we all know the Devils desperately need defense. And I have them taking Bodwildy, if I'm pronouncing that right. Also for the USA Under-18. Checks all the boxes teams look for: defenseman, size, scoring touch, and skating ability. Devils, like I said, need young defensemen with patience. Wilde should develop into a top-end player. I know Devils will have the patience. I mean, we've seen that with Mirko Mueller, which Sharks never had. We've seen it with Butcher. I mean, he started right away, but Butcher played it all but 1 game, so the Devils liked what they saw from him and made sure his transition into the NHL was great, and then hopefully Santini pans out really well. I know my YouTube viewers know how much of a fan I am of Santini, as well as anybody who knows me in real life. What else to say about Wilde here? 6'2", 195 pounds, right shot, which is very key. Devils need that. At 41 points and a plus 35 rating in 61 games. Now, what really intrigues me is that plus 35 ranking. That's great for defensemen. Defensemen usually should have a rating like that. Makes me believe he's not much of a scorer, but more does his job as a defenseman, which is always key. Like I said, I hate having a player like Burns, who is only good for offense, but when it comes to doing his job as a defenseman, fails at doing that. Let's see here. Committed to University of Michigan in 1819. He's skilled, tough, and has a good shot from the point. Moving on to the Columbus Blue Jackets, I have them taking Grigory Denisenko, who played for Yaroslav too in Russia's Junior League, I believe. Outstanding skater and playmaker, played well enough to earn his first promotion to the KHL, and got into 4 playoff games for Yaroslav. Although not the biggest player on the ice, he's fearless and physical. Jackets could definitely use a physical player, and if Panarin leaves, then they are going to need a winger, and he can help with that. And I forgot to change the picture, sorry. I do that a lot. Anyway, next up we have going to the Flyers, Rasmus Sandin. Played for Sault Ste. Marie of the OHL. So, teammate of Hayton, I'm assuming. Flyers' crop of defensemen have graduated to the NHL, Provorov, Sanheim, Hag, or just close to NHL ready, Samuel Morin, Felipe Myers. I feel like Morin will make the team next year. So it'd be a good time to start getting more defensemen. The Swedish-born Sandin had an easy transition to North America this season, and the Flyers saw a lot of them playing with top forward prospect Morgan Frost, who was their first round pick from last year's draft. Once again, that chemistry is the reason why I feel like they go for Sandin here. For the Kings, I have them taking a defenseman as well because they desperately need one. Because they didn't have a defenseman younger than 25 play more than 35 games this season. And they haven't drafted a defenseman in the first round since Derek Forbort in 2010. Alexiev, who played for the Red Deer. Oh, I don't have them taking Alexiev. I'm sorry. I have them taking Matthias Samuelsson. I think I have Alexiev going much later. Yeah, I have Alexiev going 28th overall. My bad. This is what happens when you read off your phone, guys. Alright. Maybe I should have switched the picture first, then I wouldn't have had this problem. Oh, man. Alright. Samuelsson plays a steady physical game reminiscent of his father. Kjell Samuelsson, who played 813 NHL games and works in player development for the Flyers. So maybe he goes to the Flyers for that reason, instead of Sandin. But who knows. Had 31 points, 113 penalty minutes, and 93 shots on goal in 58 games this season. That's why I feel like he goes to the Kings. Definitely is probably that tough player who loves to get in players' faces and gets them mad. And for that reason, I feel like he fits the Kings very, very well. But we'll see. Like I said, Devils, if they don't trade their pick, will go for the best defenseman available. Same with the Flyers and Kings. Oh, jeez. No, don't rip the paper out. No. Wow, these rip out of this binder fast. I didn't think they would. I guess it's good in a way, but enough for your rambling on. Next is the Sharks. I have them taking Jet. Woo! That was a bad Ric Flair woo. Sorry. I usually do the woos better. Played for Moose Jaw in the WHL. Funny enough, after every what was it? His hits are followed by a Ric Flair-esque woo by fans of Moose Jaw. Had 25 points in 44 games. Has a good shot, makes plays, is physical, and has a good work ethic, which checks off like everything I want from a Sharks defenseman. Although I feel like they're going to draft a center again because we know San Jose loves centers. Just because Wu is that physical defenseman. That's why I want the Sharks to get him, because it seems like everybody but Couture can really be physical. There's probably a couple other players too I'm forgetting, but certainly not Burns. He's become very soft. Pavelski can't fight. Shouldn't even be captain in my opinion, but that's a discussion for a different day. But yeah, hopefully Sharks do go defense here, and I would love them to land Jet Wu, but we'll see. For the Senators' next pick, I have them taking Akil Thomas, who played for Niagara in the OHL, and this is their pick from the Penguins. They're taking a scoring wing with their first pick, finding a speedy playmaking center who can get with the puck is a smart choice for the Senators here. Fast skater led draft-eligible OHL players with 81 points in 68 games. Scouts like his work ethic and complete level. If he has a good work ethic, he just might help save that franchise. Because like I said, we all know that franchise needs a lot of help. For the Quacks, I have them taking Isaac Lundestrom. Played for Luleå, Sweden. He's a center. We know they need center because Getzlaff, Perry, and Kessler are getting old. They need forwards. I should say they need forwards, but I feel like they need a center. Lundstrom had 2 full seasons playing in the SHL. Strong skater with a finishing touch and a well-developed 200-foot game. And what else do they have to say about him? Where did they have Lundstrom go in this draft? One of them had him going 18th. And like I said, it's a weak draft class for top-line centers, but Lundstrom catches the eye with his speed, puck protection skills, and offensive zone flair. Played well for Sweden at the World Juniors and has developed a complete game, something I feel the Ducks will greatly benefit from having. The Wild I also have taking a center, and that would be Ty Dellandrea, who played for Flint in the OHL. Scouts loved how hard he fought through a tough season and continued to contribute in all areas. When given the chance to play better with better players, he raised his game. He starred in the Top Prospects game and was one of Canada's top players at the World Under-18 Championships, which is not bad for a player in a team who finished second to last in the league. So that's good how, when given... I forgot to switch picks again, sorry. So when given better teammates, he also delivers. And you want that. That shows he has a great ethic, because even without good players, he still worked his butt off. And that'd be great for the Wild. Maple Leafs, I have them taking a defenseman, Jared McIsaac, from the Halifax Mooseheads. I feel like that's one of the only QMJHL teams I know, because that was Timo Meyer's team before he got traded to the Huskies, I believe it was. So McIsaac's smarts and skating are the foundations of his game. Maple Leafs need a player who can trigger that transition game, and McIsaac can do that by carrying the puck out of the zone or with a smart pass to an open forward. So he can be a smart passer. Probably isn't going to be like a scoring defenseman. Most likely will be a defenseman like Mark Edward Vlasic. Let's be honest, who would have wanted a defenseman like Vlasic on their team? Next up is the Rangers. I have them taking Michael McLeod's brother, actually. Ryan McLeod. Will this happen? Probably not. Played for Mississauga in the OHL, but that would be really cool. I want to see that brother rivalry. But he is one of the fastest players in the drafts, and his speed would definitely help the Rangers, in my opinion. NHL has them taking Merkley or McIsaac. Where did I have Merkley even going? Did I not have him drafted? I don't think I had Merkley drafted. Wow. But like I said, with teams that need defense, they're going to go for best available, so yeah. Anyway, what else did they say about McLeod? There we go. Considered one of the better passers in the league, had 70 points, 26 goals, 44 assists, and 6 power play goals in 68 games, and won 54.3% of his faceoffs. And like I said, he's the younger brother of Devils forward prospect Michael McLeod, who, by the way, I feel like will crack the roster next season. But yes, Rangers definitely could use a player like him. The fact that he wins over half his faceoffs is very key and crucial. And, like I said, would be a good fit for the Rangers. Blackhawks with their pick from the Predators. I have them taking a defenseman, Kalen. How do I pronounce his last name? Kalen Addison. Okay, it was Addison. Played for Lethbridge in the WHL. Blackhawks have a need for young defensemen, and if they don't get one with their first pick in the first round, they'll get it here. Addison has high-end skating and offensive ability, 5'10", 180-pound right shot defenseman. He needs to get stronger to improve his defensive play, but that will come over time with development, obviously. And I guess that's probably the reason why the Blackhawks would not go for him, and instead they'd go for a defenseman who's more NHL ready, because Hawks need help right away. They need all the help they can get. 28th overall. This is where I have Alexander Alexeyev being taken. Played for Red Deer. He's probably going to go much. I don't think he's going to be available at this point, but we'll see. Where is he? I was talking about the Kings when. Right. Okay. Alexeyev is big, 6'3", 200 pounds, and is skilled with excellent hockey sense, which can work well for the Rangers. I don't know what their whole rebuild plan is, but he definitely can help him out there with that. Wasn't an easy season for him, who took off after the death of his mother in January, then missed games late in the season because of an injury. But scouts liked that he kept coming back and playing well, especially in the playoffs when he had 5 points in 3 games. So despite despite everything that happened to him during the season, he still, he still didn't let that bother him or affect his game, and still produced, which is very good. Shows to me and probably scouts that he has great work ethic. Blues, I have them taking Dominic Bach, right winger, who played for Vaxjo Jr. in Sweden. Bach learned a lot in his first season in Sweden, and his individual skills make him one of the most intriguing players in this class. He played well enough with Vaxjo's team in Sweden's junior league that he was called up to play 15 games with Vaxjo in the Swedish Hockey League. And what else do they say about Bach here? German-born. Was born in Schweinfurt. I'm not the best when it comes to German. I don't feel like many people are, though. It's fun to say the names, though. Like, I always love saying Schweinsteiger. But anyway. 6'1", 180-pound right shot forward. Had 41 points, 14 goals, 27 assists in 35 games as a rookie for Vaxjo in Swedish Junior League. He's a finesse-type forward who is strong on his skates and looks to shoot. And we know the Blues love their finesse-like players, and I feel like he can do well with Tarasenko. So going 30th overall, not 31st overall like I had originally, we have the Red Wings taking Jacob Olofsson, who played for Timrå in Sweden 2. I don't know what Swedish league that is. I'm not very good when it comes to like the other hockey leagues, but whatchamacallit? Had 21 points, 10 goals, 11 assists in 43 games in his first full season in Sweden's second division. Okay, it was their second division. His maturity and two-way game draws scouts' attention. I feel like he'd be a good fit for the Red Wings, especially with Zetterberg getting older. And I feel the Red Wings definitely need a center, which, like I said, isn't the greatest draft for centers, but they'll go with whatever center's best available, and I feel like they will go for Olofsson. Now for the Stanley Cup champion Washington Capitals, I have them taking defenseman Jonathan Tachonic. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, wait, but don't they have a lot of defensemen? Yes, but he was the fastest player in the pro agility drill at the scouting combine, which cemented for the scouts his great skating ability and speed burst. Capitals already do have good prospects, but none with the speed like Tachonic. He played at the University of North Dakota next season, so obviously he won't go to the NHL right away, but if the Caps wanted still be very competitive team for years to come. I feel like you go for this guy just because of that speed. As a Sharks fan, I know how speed's important, especially when it comes to the Cup Finals, because that's a big reason why the Sharks lost to the Penguins. But, things can go wrong with prospects, so adding another defenseman to your pool is not a bad idea, especially because who knows if they're going to lose Carlson and whatnot. So that's why I have them taking Tychonik. Mainly because of his speed. I feel like, though, because of his speed, his draft stock should be a little higher and probably will not be available at this point. But we shall see. So that is my mock draft, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed. It was really fun doing a mock draft for the first time. I definitely want to do this in future years. I don't think I'm going to do it for other sports, though, because this takes a lot of time and research to look into. And I wish I was able to do more research. That way I didn't have to look at NHL's mock draft for, info on the players and whatnot, but it's alright. Not too shabby for a rookie, right? Anyway, so for those of you on my YouTube channel, definitely check out my blog. For those of you on my blog, check out my YouTube channel. And, I think I'm actually going to upload this video tonight, and then I'll put an update video before I leave for work, explaining basically the good changes I'm doing to the channel. And hopefully you guys don't mind that every once in a while, along with my whatever sports card related videos I do, I also do videos for my blog. Because I figured, why make a separate channel when I could just put the videos on this channel. Anyway, thank you all as always for watching. I'll have the list of players drafted in my mock draft in the description below. And best of luck to everyone's teams in the draft. Hope it's great. Hope it's awesome. Just like the awards. Well, awards were very emotional last night, but I really hated all the corny Vegas crap, like the magician and whatnot. But that kid was hilarious. So happy Hall won Hart. Well deserved. It's so funny hearing and seeing all the salt from Avalanche fans. And the big reason why Hall won the Hart, which I've been saying since the playoffs started, was if you look at team leaders, Hall had 41 more points than Heischer, and that was a whole lot more compared to McKinnon and I believe it was Rantanen. Alright, yeah. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Subscribe for more, check out my blog, and I'll see you guys next time. Great time for my foot to freeze, right? Oh, boy.